Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my parents' basement in the great state of Kansas, and continuing the series of watching the Alien and Predator movies. And we are up to Aliens Resurrection, the fourth of the Aliens movies. This is the sixth of the series that I've watched so far. So now we got to the fourth Alien movie, called Resurrection for a good reason. Trying to resurrect the Alien series that really should have stopped at Alien 3, it feels like. And really pushing it on this Aliens movie Resurrection as we bring back Sigourney Weaver, kind of playing a version of the Ripley character. And if you saw my last review, of course, Alien 3, which came out in 1992, this comes out in 1997, so bit of a gap, 5-year gap. It feels like the Aliens franchise really should have, like I said, really ended with the third one. And I don't know, 5 years later, they decided, you know what, let's try to make some money off the Alien because it's still I guess, a known name franchise that they think they can make some money off of. And so they wanted to bring Sigourney Weaver back, even though in Alien 3, again, spoiler for Alien 3, she dies at the end. She kills herself, basically. So the government can't take her alien baby that's inside of her. She, I guess, has an alien queen baby inside of her. So she kills herself so the government can't get an alien queen and, make more aliens, xenomorph aliens to use for government use or whatever. That's always been the big storyline behind the Alien franchise. Not a great way to end the Alien franchise, but that seems a way to end it. Go, okay, we're going to go away from the Sigourney Weaver Ripley character. But in this one, we somehow bring back not Ripley, but a clone of Ripley. It's Ripley because it's Sigourney Weaver, but it's not her because it's actually like the eighth clone that they've made. That the other 7 clones or whatever it was didn't turn out, but the eighth clone actually survived or whatever. So we're going with that. Now, how do you make a clone out of somebody who dives into like this acid bath or whatever she dived into to kill herself? She's dead. How do you clone someone who dies in that way? It makes absolutely no sense. And that's one of the biggest problems of this movie, that it was a really stupid way to bring back the Ripley character. And from what I know, Sigourney Weaver did not expect to come back. She did not want to come back for this movie. But it was one of those things where they offer her too much money. She couldn't say no. They gave her an offer she couldn't refuse, in a sense. Backed up the money truck, and she's like, okay, how can I say no with this much money they're giving me? So she, I think against her best interest, she came back for a fourth movie, even though she was sure that after her death in the third movie, she would never come back. So she is resurrected, I guess, in a sense. And that's why we do this movie. And again, it feels like just a cash grab of a movie. Like, let's get some xenomorph aliens killing people. It really seemed like it was not needed in this franchise at this point. The director is a French director who I'm not trying to pronounce his name. The only thing I know, he did a lot of French films. The only big one, this is like his big like American film that I can sense. He made this one French film, Amelia, I think it's called, or Amelia, who was a very popular French film that was nominated, I think, for an Oscar for Best French Film. I don't know that it won, but I know it was nominated. And it was like one of the most popular like foreign films, actually. A lot of people love that movie. I've seen it, didn't care for it. And there's something about foreign films are usually weird to American audience, at least to me. They don't really fit the American formula. They do a lot of weird stuff. And a lot of times I watch foreign films that, if they're not like kung fu films, I usually come away going, well, that was weird. And I feel the same way about this director, because this movie is very weird. It's just very off. It doesn't feel like it really fits with the other movies at all. And again, the other 3 have legendary directors. I mean, when you have Ridley Scott and James Cameron, and was it Dave Fincher, I think, in the third one or something like that. You have these very highly regarded directors, and then you have this French guy. It doesn't seem to fit. Again, this came out in 1987, which I was like in junior high, and I have no memory of this movie coming out. And I was watching a lot of movies. Of course, I wouldn't go watch this movie because it was rated R and part of the Alien franchise I wasn't into. But I don't know, I have no memory of this movie coming out. So it's like a total, like, this seems like, I don't know if other people out there remember this movie coming out. It seems like one of those movies that kind of just came and went, and everybody forgot, because I don't think it did anything in the box office. It was not critically acclaimed at all. I think it bombed, and I don't think anybody cared for it. It has an interesting cast. You got Winona Ryder here, who's very popular at this point in the 90s after she did like Little Women. I know it's a very popular film of hers, and like Edward Scissorhands and other stuff. She was, I think, The Crucible, I know, but I think she's a fairly popular actress at this point, a young actress. Yeah, it was weird. I was not expecting to see Winona Ryder in this movie. So, like I said, I knew nothing. So I was like, wow, Winona Ryder, okay. Big time, kind of a well-known actress at this point. Ron Perlman, I was really happy to see him. Had no idea he was here. I know mostly for the Hellboy movies, but he shows up movies here and there, and he's always a fun character, and he's the same as he always is in this movie as well. Also, Brad Dourif, I thought was really cool. I didn't know he was in here, and he plays like one of the scientists that are experimenting on the xenomorph aliens, I guess. And he's great. Of course, I know mostly for Lord of the Rings as Grimtongue, but he's shown up in a lot of different movies and is a really good actor, and he does a good job here too. So there are actually some pretty good supporting characters in this movie that, or actors, I should say, in this movie that made me a little interested. Going, oh, okay, I like these actors. They're good character actors, or well-known actors and all that. That I always enjoy seeing these movies. And there's just one guy who's like in a wheelchair, and he has kind of a weird look to him. As he seems very French like, and I'm like, this must be like one of those guys that this French director just loves to put in his movies. But there's a lot of other characters in this movie, and so the movie, I don't know if I explained. She's a clone, but it's like she doesn't know that the past of Ripley or something. I can't remember. There's something weird about her memory as Ripley. Also, because they cloned her, they were able to take the queen out of her. So the alien queen does exist, I guess, on the ship, whatever. They have it like locked up, I think, or something. I can't remember all the details of it. But they have like, I want to say 3 xenomorph aliens that we see kind of shackled up or caged up that they're doing experiments on. And of course, they figure out a way to get free, which is actually kind of interesting how they get out, because their blood is like acid, so it can, make a hole in the floor. So one of them dies, and like the acid, the blood chews a hole in the floor, and the other 2 like xenomorph aliens get out that way. And so we got 2, I think we got 2, if I remember, xenomorph aliens kind of loose on this ship. So this is we get aliens. Usually it's always, we got the first movie is one alien on a ship killing the crew. Second movie, it's a bunch of aliens, and they're fighting like on a planet, on a whatever. And then the third one, we're like, it's one alien and then a penal colony. This one, we got 2 like aliens of it. Plus we have a queen alien. Plus we have another alien that comes on later on, but that terrorize this crew on this ship. And there's these, what they call, I guess in the description, called space pirates, like these mercenary, which is run by like Ron Perlman and Winona Ryder and all that. They're on the ship as well, and I forget exactly what their story is, but of course, when they found out these aliens are free, they're trying to get into escape pod or something, get out of there, and they're being chased by these aliens. Is the whole thing, of course, of the movie. I would say the CGI, like the close-ups of the aliens still look really good. Like they still do a really good job. In fact, it probably looks the best I've seen so far. 1997 CGI has gotten decent at this point. Not great yet, but a little better on the CGI. Like when they're moving around, it still looks like CGI aliens, but it's not as bad as 3. 3 is still the worst CGI I've ever seen, where I was like, wow, this doesn't, it looks like a computer rated, it doesn't look real at all. And so like the close-ups, like I said, look very real. They're very good at that. When they're moving around, it still looks a little too CGI for me. So it puts me out of the movie anytime I've seen an alien moving around. The worst part is when they're swimming. There's a whole scene where they have to go underwater to get to this one part, and they have to climb up this ladder, and then the 2 xenomorph aliens get in there, and they're swimming. It's the first time we've seen like a xenomorph alien swim, and boy, the CGI looked pretty bad when they were swimming. That's when I was like, okay, this kind of takes me out of the movie. I'm not that scared of these monsters because they don't look real. And that's the whole problem, is if this too CGI'd for me, I don't get scared or thrilled, which is the point of these movies. And because we have some interesting characters, I do like the fact that we have these mercenary characters, these space pirates, add some flavor to the film, add some interesting characters and dialogue back and forth. I'd say overall the dialogue is not great in this movie. Like I said, it's just the way it's shot is just really weird. I didn't like the way the movie was shot at all. It just, I don't know what it was about it, but it really took me out of the movie. And like I said, the acting, not the greatest or whatever, but still there's some interesting characters here. Yeah, it's, it's almost it could almost be a good movie or a good premise. It was just better directed and better written, I guess. I can't say the word better. Yeah, directed and written. I think it could be much better of a movie. And then the Ripley character, she's like a clone, so she's like, I don't know, a hybrid or something like that, where she's part alien, part clone. She's got, I think she's, if I remember right, she's like more like stronger. She's more enhanced, and all this. Okay, to get to the weird part of the movie, the really weirdest part is she gets captured and she goes down to see the Queen Alien, whatever. And the Queen Alien gives birth to this other alien who doesn't look like a xenomorph alien. It's like a hybrid of a xenomorph and a human, and evidently it's like somehow it's like her child. Again, this makes no sense. I have a hard time explaining it, but it's like her, it looks at her, at Ripley, the Ripley clone, as like its mother, and so, and it's like a really gruesome looking like alien creature. Not like the xenomorphs. It doesn't have like a second mouth. It actually has like a human tongue, and the facial features are a little more human like. And yeah, and so it even kills like the Queen Mother for some reason, which I was like, what is going on? It was a little weird. It does actually have some more gruesome kills, which kind of make some more interesting parts of the movie. The way it kills Brad Dourif is pretty gruesome. But then it goes to the Sigourney Weaver character, and it like licks her face, which I'm like, why is it like? It almost came some like, this is like coming sexually weird now. Like it's licking Ripley's face, but then it like puts its head on her shoulder like it's her kid, and she's like caressing it like a kid. Anyways, even though I don't know, it's really weird. It doesn't make any sense. It was stupid. I really hated that whole moment. Of course, she turns against it, and then they try to escape, and it somehow, of course, like all the alien movies, somehow it gets onto the ship the escape ship that they get on to escape the big ship, and it does have some pretty good gruesome kills of some of the members on that ship. Probably the best part of the movie. And again, I don't even remember how she defeats it, I think, and that's the end of the movie. And I don't even remember exactly how this movie ends. It's just so forgettable of a movie in this franchise. And I think it's not as boring. I'll say this, it's not as boring as the Alien 3, but it was just really stupid at moments, and it really was not that overall that interesting of a movie. And it just felt like it was just a waste of an Alien movie in some ways. And yes, overall, again, I'm kind of with Alien 3 and the first Alien movie. I'm not a fan. I haven't been really a fan of this series. I do like the second movie, Aliens. The other three, though, yeah, not that great. And this definitely does not help the Alien series at this point. And I'm kind of interested in getting into the next ones with Alien versus Predators and the Predator movies, and see if we can get some more better movies out of here. But overall, yeah, I thought this was another kind of stinker in the series. I give it a 1 star at best. Again, the only thing that's better than any other movies, I think, is that the characters are a little more interesting because they're like these space pirates, and they have a lot of guns and stuff, and all of that. But yeah, and it's a little more of an action than horror, which I liked more action type than horror, but I still don't care for this movie all that much. So definitely another one to miss if you don't need to see the whole Alien franchise. I would skip out on this one as well. And yeah, definitely wasn't needed. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Alien Resurrection. Please feel free to give me your thoughts as well, and if you feel the same way and all that. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking it, and thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all and hope you have a good day.